All right, so we are live and I see the audience trickling in. We are already 45 plus, so huge interest over there. I know Zoom takes a moment to connect the audio, so those of you who have already joined, if you can let us know if you are able to hear us by saying the city or telling us the city and the country you are dialing in from. I see a lot of people coming in from India. I'm sure this is from across of India. So those of you who are in the room right now, let us know the city and the country you're dialing in from. So I see Sri Lakshmi from Chennai in India dialing in. Uh, okay, Vansh from Delhi, Karthik from Delhi, Suchal, and multiple people from Delhi. I see Gopi Kishan from Mumbai, Prem Sawant from Mumbai. I see someone from Ahmedabad. I just flew from Ahmedabad to Indore. So yeah, that city, a beautiful city, amazing food over there. I see quite a few people dialing in from Bangalore, Surat, basically all entrepreneurial hubs. So, Catherine and Dr. Rao, you would of course know this. India has a huge culture of entrepreneurship, especially in the west and the north of the country. So, the the state of Gujarat, where I flew in from, is well known for entrepreneurship. Cities like Surat, Ahmedabad, Baroda, big on entrepreneurship front. Similarly, Delhi, Bangalore, the startup ecosystem is great. Great. So I see a lot of people coming in, and I want to welcome our audience and do a brief introduction for myself. My name is Sanjay Dhingra. I'm one of the co-founders and the chief operating officer at Seed Global Education. We are a firm that specializes in facilitating such interactions. Those of you who have met us before or attended any of our events, we give you an opportunity to connect with top schools from around the world. And it's my pleasure to be hosting Babson College's FW All-in School of Business in this particular session. Those of you, I'm sure a lot of you already have done your research on Babson's Business School and All in Graduate School of Business. But in case you haven't, this is just a brief overview. Babson University or the college is very well known for entrepreneurship. I personally know a number of entrepreneurship that have come out of the school. Those of you who are in India or follow eGMAT, the test prep for GMAT coaching, their founder is a Babson alumnus as well. And of course, you'll hear about many other alumnus coming out of the school, becoming entrepreneurs around the world. The school has ranked number one for entrepreneurship multiple times. This is by US News and World Report rankings. And I think over the last 3 decades, it has topped the rankings multiple times as well. Our today's session is very special. It's a topic which is very close to my heart. I'm an entrepreneur myself. As I said, I'm a co-founder at Seed Global Education. We are a 5-year-old firm, so we are a startup in that sense. And this session is about leading like a CEO. Those of you who have aspirations to lead businesses in the future, it could be as an in-house or within a company or take over a big company and run their operations as a CEO or CX, C-level manager, or even if you want to start your own venture and become a COO, CEO over there, you would understand that the thought process and the culture that you build, the innovation culture that you build in the organization is extremely important. My organization is going through that journey right now. And that's why I said this topic is very close to my heart as well. In this masterclass, we'll try to get you a glimpse on how Babson trains future executives. We will talk about how it prepares leaders to lead in the business world, could be as business leaders at organizations or entrepreneurs both. And we will talk about the entrepreneurial leadership and innovation culture that the school imbibes in its graduates. My speakers are special. I have Dr. Jay Rao, who is a professor of operations and information management division, professor of operations and information management at the school. He teaches extensively at Babson in the executive education programs as well. And I'm looking forward. I'm going to let him do a more detailed introduction. I have a huge, detailed introduction for him, but I'm going to let him do talk a little bit more about himself. Post his presentation, we'll also speak with Catherine, who is the senior associate director at the school, and we will talk about how, if you are targeting Babson College, you want to go and study over there at Dolan Graduate School of Business, she will talk about how you can make the cut and secure and admit over there or what the application requirements are for you. But before I hand over the mic to Dr. Rao, I'm quickly going to run our first poll for this evening. The poll is going to be live on your screen in a second from now. My request to our audience is do respond. It's always great to know what you are thinking. My question for you is, what do you think entrepreneurial leadership really means? Entrepreneurship means a lot of things. You are an initiative taker, but what do you think about entrepreneurial leadership, according to you? I'm going to keep this poll live for another few seconds. So if you haven't responded, please do. I see 70 plus responses already. I'd love to touch that 100 mark. So please do respond if you can. All right, I am going to end this poll and I'm going to be slightly disappointed. We are slightly less than the 100 mark, but I'm still going to share the results and show it for everyone's benefit. So, my question was, what do you think about entrepreneurial leadership? And for a lot of you, it was about solving problems in new and uncertain situations. Some said starting a business, taking big risks, being creative and innovative. But a major chunk of you possibly got it correct that it's all of the above. And I'll let Dr. Rao confirm that for you. But with that, I'm going to stop. I'm going to stop here and hand over the screen to Dr. Rao.
Thank you. Thank you, Sanjay. Please address me as Jay. At
Good.
Babson, we're all super informal. So, firstly, thank you for hosting us. And it's wonderful to be with all of you. Let me share some slides. And actually, um, the poll that you just kind of created is a wonderful way of jumping right into the content. Okay, and so I'm going to keep my chat open. So please, all of you, as I ask some questions, feel free to respond. And so actually, I want to make this presentation dynamic rather than just a one-way dialogue from my side. And so that might I can see what you're typing in. Okay. And I saw that somebody is joining us from Antarctica. Wow, that's unbelievable. It's like, and okay. So, leading like a CEO, Babson is known for entrepreneurial leadership. And in fact, it's bigger than entrepreneurship. Okay. And I'll kind of take you through what exactly is this entrepreneurial leadership. But just to get us started, just to make sure everyone is aware, we are in the beautiful, beautiful city of Boston. Okay. For 9 months of the year, winter is not that great. But, and of course, on the other side of the river are two big, massive gorillas called Harvard and MIT. But we are on the other side of the river. But it's a beautiful 300-acre campus, a very traditional kind of environment of what a New England school is. More than 100 years ago, Roger Babson started Babson. And the school was started primarily for kids, specifically sons of family businesses. Okay. So the only son of Henry Ford came to Babson. Okay. The great grandson of the founder of Toyota, Akio Toyota, came to Babson. His son Daisuke came to Babson. And from India, we have one of the most famous families, Neeraj Ambani, is a Babson grad. Okay. And so later on, of course, women were added as well. So primarily, the genesis of Babson is primarily rooted in family businesses. Okay. In fact, a huge percentage of our both graduate and undergraduate populations are coming from family businesses, 40, 50%. Okay. Even though we are known for entrepreneurship. So actually, we are highly represented in boards of corporations. Okay. Now, every MBA program, every business school will claim that they develop leaders. But actually, Babson can claim that we develop executives. I'm making a very clear distinction between executives and leaders. Okay. And so we're talking of the top. Okay. And so that's our claim. Not only that, as Sanjay mentioned, we are we have been the mecca for entrepreneurship for 30 years. On a per capita basis, we create more entrepreneurs than some of the biggest schools on earth. Okay, the biggest brand names. Okay, so not only are we training the future CEOs and future presidents of large family businesses and family businesses globally, we are also developing startup CEOs, because startup CEOs are wearing multiple hats from day one, isn't it? So that's our claim to fame. And you may have heard of many of these companies that have been started by Babson graduates. Okay, Ring was just sold to Amazon for $1 billion. Our current president of Babson was the co-founder of Jiffy Lube. Okay, and probably you all know Zumba Fitness. Okay, it's a global phenomenon. Okay, Alberto Perlman, the founder, was my student. Okay, and so that's a very brief background, and Catherine is going to give you a lot more details about programs and so forth. Okay. Now, I have been at Babson 30 years. I've been in the US for 38 years. I'm from Bangalore. Actually, I'm coming from a third generation family business. Okay. It's an 85-year-old family business. I am the future CEO, future president of our family business. That's why I'm at Babson. Okay. Now, my own work at Babson, what most people also don't know is Babson trains corporate entrepreneurs. Babson has an executive program where we work with large companies, global companies, and we make executives much more entrepreneurial. So I myself, I worked with Bancolombia for more than a decade. I sit on their innovation advisory board. I worked with Ocean Spray, the largest cranberry juice company, for more than a decade. Okay. I worked with the largest doorknob company, Assa Abloy, for a decade. So many of our faculty work with executives. One is training family business future presidents and CEOs, training startup CEOs, and helping large company executives to become more entrepreneurial. So, in a nutshell, who are we? Who is Babson? We are super, super, super practitioner oriented. And we at Babson, the faculty, we are so proud. We call ourselves pracademics, not just purely academics. And I promise you, 90% or more of all faculty in most universities globally are pure academics. That is the huge difference between Babson and every other business school that you're going to apply to. Okay. It's a clear, clear, clear differentiation. Okay. So let's jump right into some content. This, as Sanjay mentioned, this particular short masterclass is about how do you think like a C-suite person, not just a CEO. We call it a CXO. And the X can stand for CEO, CFO, COO, CTO, CIO, CHRO, any of the C-suite person. Okay. What does it mean to think and act like a CXO? Okay. What are the challenges that these people face? How is it that different? How is it different from traditional leaders? How is it different from individual contributors inside an organization? So let's jump right in. Let's take these four words and kind of dissect it and kind of go deep and more granular. Okay. Let me throw out this question. And I think the survey that you all responded was for the term entrepreneurial leadership. I'm going to make it even more narrow. Okay. I want you to respond to just the word entrepreneurial. Forget leadership, just the word entrepreneurial. When you hear that word entrepreneurial, okay, what words come to your mind? Throw in some words, put it on the chat. And Sanjay, Catherine, please feel free to jump in and throw in your own words. Okay. Yeah, innovative. What else? What other words come to your mind when you hear the word entrepreneurial? Just
Creative, maybe. Oh, new business,
creative,
I
new
see.
business. Yeah, go ahead. Innovates,
Innovates.
business. Yeah, what else? Making businesses. Yeah, yeah. Solving a problem, startup. Absolutely. What other words come to your mind?
But being willing to take risks, things like that.
That
There it
shows
is,
up
taking risks.
constantly. Taking risk, creative idea, converting into business. Nice. Mustafa, I love that, changing the world. Okay. It's not just business, but also social impact. Okay. So the word entrepreneurial is bigger than business. Okay. And we can be entrepreneurial in many contexts, in government, in military, and in politics, in religion, in not-for-profit. So the word entrepreneurial is much bigger than just business. That's the first thing that I want all of you to be thinking about. Okay. And if I kind of roughly, if I were to summarize, and I was in Brazil with a group of leaders, and one woman put up her hand and said, Jay, this sounds like a single mother of 3 young children in the favela of Rio de Janeiro. And that just hit me. I said, oh my God, what is being entrepreneurial? Think of the day in the life of a single mother with 3 young children in Dharavi, the largest slum in India. What is her day looking like? Why don't you type in, what does the day in the life of a single mother of 3 young children in Dharavi, the largest slum in Mumbai? What is her life? What is her day? Right?
It's got
And
to
in
be really
fact,
hard to be a single mother with 3 kids. You're really managing a lot of processes.
you're juggling so many things, isn't it? What
Yeah.
else? What else is her life? What is a typical day? Love. Somnath, I love it. She's super caring, isn't it? Absolutely. What else is it? What does she do things with? Okay. What does she have to deal with? Absolutely. Taking care of the kids, making sure they are well fed, making sure that they when they fall sick, that they get that care. Okay. Super responsible. Okay. Constantly. Okay. That intense responsibility, and not just that accountability, isn't it? She feels accountable for whatever, making sure that the kids don't get into gangs, making sure that they don't do drugs, making sure that they are in school. And Diksha, with minimal resources. Minimum resources. Okay. Dealing with society. Amazing. Because anybody can solve problems with given a lot of resources, isn't it? But being entrepreneurial is being resourceful, okay, and solving problems with little resources. That is the essence of Babson. Okay. And so you guys captured it beautifully. Okay. Never giving up, Samruddhi. Absolutely. Okay. And Hanzala, thank you. Thank you. All of those. All of those. I love it. Okay. All right. Now, the word leadership is slightly different. Now, in the early days of the pandemic, weren't we resourceful? Weren't we creative? Weren't we solving problems? Weren't we kind of doing things better for society? All of us were entrepreneurial. In fact, it was one of the most creative times in recent history. We humans are solving amazing problems with little resources, highly constrained environments. Okay, so here is the good news. The good news, and the research is very clear. All humans are entrepreneurial. We are all entrepreneurial. Okay, there's a little entrepreneurial being inside of us already. Okay, in fact, many of us have done all of these in different situations. Whatever you have typed for that word entrepreneurial, we have done it. But we use our entrepreneurial skills accidentally, opportunistically, okay, fearfully, at times jealously, and you young people, you call it FOMO, okay, or maybe intentionally, okay. And this single mother of 3 young children doesn't even know the word entrepreneurial exists, but she's being super entrepreneurial, isn't it? Okay. And so that's the good news. We have entrepreneurial skills. Okay. And we need to understand what it is. And we have to find our specific entrepreneurial skills. And the word risk came out a couple of times. And in fact, Sanjay had put the word uncertainty also in there. And today, the world is being super VUCA. VUCA is a buzzword today. Volatile, uncertain, complex, ambiguous, right? But the word risk is missing in that list of VUCA. Okay, since the pandemic, that word has become a mega buzzword, isn't it? Okay. And so in that sense, we have to understand, hey, why is the word risk missing from that list? Okay. Now, risk is different from uncertainty. Okay. Risk is measurable. Uncertainty is not. Okay. So the first thing we need to understand is that we have different types of entrepreneurial skills. Okay. And so VUCA, VUCA, Roshni, volatile, uncertain, complex, ambiguous. Okay. You can find that on the internet. You can chat GPT that. And that has become a big, because the environment is going that way. Okay. But the most common word inside corporations is the word risk. But risk is not the same as uncertainty. Okay. Risk is the past. Risk is history. We have data. We have spreadsheets. We can do scenario planning. We can do what if analysis. So risk management is different from uncertainty navigation. Very different from ambiguity exploration. Okay. So we humans have entrepreneurial skills. Absolutely, Kumail. Risk is calculated and planned. We can manage it. That's why it's called risk management. Okay. But we also are very good at uncertainty navigation. We can manage risk when we can analyze and act. When we have data and we have experience, we can analyze and act. But in the early days of the pandemic, all our spreadsheet, we had to throw out of the window. Okay. So our spreadsheets were useless. Some of the data was useless and we didn't have experience. So in which case we had to navigate uncertainty. We had to explore ambiguity. We had to act and create data where there was no data and then analyze. So welcome to being entrepreneurial. At Babson, we not only train you for risk management, but we train you for uncertainty navigation and we train you for ambiguity exploration. Please write down, every business school on earth trains you for risk management. But Babson goes beyond every business school because of our focus on entrepreneurial leadership. And that is, you will really get deeper into uncertainty navigation and ambiguity exploration. And that's the key difference. And leadership. Let's get deeper into leadership, because if you are an executive, okay, if you're an executive, you have to have all these three skills. Okay. We all have it, but we have our comfort zones. Okay. We use these skills either, accidentally, opportunistically, fearfully, FOMO. But if we know what my skills are, then we can be more intentional and we can be more effective executives. Okay. How many of you have heard the term? We are all leaders. Everyone is a leader. And you will hear this all the time. Many of your executives keep talking about it. Many of the HR people keep saying about this, isn't it? That we are all leaders. You have to be very careful. There is no research to support it. In fact, the research for the last couple of decades is that most employees don't want to be leaders. Okay, that research is very good. Okay, 60-70% of employees don't want to be leaders. Firstly, they don't want to be accountable. They don't want responsibility. They don't want to make decisions. And most importantly, they don't want to deal with employees, especially employees' problems, employees complaining, employee babysitting employees, encouraging and motivating and kind of engaging employees. No, they don't want to do that. So please write down. The research shows that not everybody wants to be a leader. Okay. In fact, only 6-7% of people want to be executives. Okay. Kumail, absolutely. They don't want to deal with people. Okay. Now, the very fact that you are here today means that you want to be a leader. And many of you not only want to be a leader, but some of you want to be executives. Congratulations, you're on that path already. Okay. That you want to lead people and you want to be accountable. You want to be responsible. Okay. So leadership is different. Okay. And if Kumail, if you want to be a founder and CEO, absolutely, Babson is the place for you. Okay. So what does it mean to wear the hat of that leadership? Okay. So, and in this case, we train executives. Now, the word innovation again came out in your responses. And you all agreed to the poll that Sanjay had put up. Okay. But also, innovation is the most abused, misused, overused word in the last 20 years. Okay. And go to any company or go to any business, that word innovation keeps coming up all the time. Okay. The word problem solving keeps coming up all the time. And if you go to LinkedIn, everybody says creative problem solver. But you won't understand problem solving if you don't understand risk management, uncertainty navigation, ambiguity exploration. So you can challenge Stanford, Harvard, anybody, any graduate, and ask them for the difference. Very few people will understand what is risk management versus uncertainty navigation. So please write down, I cannot be a great problem solver if I don't understand these three skills: risk management, uncertainty navigation, ambiguity exploration. Because the way you solve problems are very different when you have data versus when you don't have data. And you don't even know how the problem is defined. Okay. So at the heart of innovation is disciplined problem solving. At the core of all innovation is disciplined problem solving. And most importantly, innovation is changing the game in the market. Innovation is about changing societal norms. Innovation is about having impact that is somewhat sustainable. If you can't change the game in the market, then it's not innovation. Innovation has to help you introduce a new product, create a new business, enter a new market, grow markets, steal market share. Somehow it has to change the dynamics of competition in the market. It's a very high bar. Okay. Just going from one ERP system to another ERP system is not innovation. Okay. Just introducing a new product that has no impact is not innovation. That's just an experiment. Okay. Yes, Kumail, innovation has to give you a competitive advantage with respect to the competition. Okay. Or it has to create value in society at scale. And this is where most people don't have the skills, because innovation is about scale. Entrepreneurship is not about startup. Entrepreneurship is about skills to scale. In fact, the data is very clear. Most startups globally don't scale. Okay? 90% of all companies in Spain have less than 9 employees. In India, it's even worse. Okay? In Brazil, 99% of all companies have less than 20 employees. In the United States, only 10% of all companies have more than 20 employees. So please write down, entrepreneurship is not about starting businesses. Entrepreneurship is about skills to scale. Okay? And skills to scale means having an impact in the market. And that is innovation. And here is the good news. The good news that startups can innovate, medium companies can innovate, large companies can innovate. Okay? So Netflix came and killed Blockbuster. So a monkey killed a gorilla. Ghana in India became pretty popular. But the gorilla, Spotify, came and killed Ghana. Okay. Paytm, a monkey, was becoming a gorilla, but Google Pay came and beat the monkey. So monkeys can beat gorillas and gorillas can fight back. And chimpanzees can also change the game in the market. So innovation is democratic. Monkeys can change the game. Chimpanzees can change the game. Gorillas can change the game. Small, medium, large. Anybody can change the game. It's not just about resources. And I think somebody mentioned with little resources, isn't it? And that is entrepreneurial leadership. Okay. And as a CXO, you are responsible for culture. Okay. You set the culture, you set the tone, you set the climate of the corporation. Okay. And there's a lot of misunderstanding about the word culture. Okay. Like innovation, culture is a fantastic excuse for inaction. Most mediocre people hide behind this word culture, saying, that's how we do things. Okay. But you have to be careful. Okay. Because culture is not very well researched, even among business school faculty. There's a huge misunderstanding about culture. Everybody says, it's values, it's behaviors, it's climate. But that's only half the equation. Some of the best definitions of culture is how we get things done. It's very action oriented. How do we go into the future? Okay. It's very dynamic. Okay. It's culture is how a corporation adapts to the changes and the market realities. So without resources, without projects, without processes, without products, you can have great values and behaviors and yet go bankrupt. Okay. So there is a business side of culture and there is an emotional side of culture. And in most situations, in most business schools globally, they only think culture is that emotional side. No. You can't have that emotional side without the rational business side, which is that people, the projects, the processes, the products, the customers. So you have the hardware side. That's how you compete with the world. And then you have the emotional side. That's how you attract and train great executives inside the corporation. Okay. And so what does it mean to wear the hat of an executive is not only how do you innovate, but you also how do you set the culture and the tone. So I'm going to stop here. I'm going to turn it over to Catherine and Sanjay, okay? And we'll take questions from all of you. Thank you for being so kind of dynamic and with all your comments, amazing stuff. We would love to see many of you at Babson.
Okay. Thank you, Jay. This was wonderful. And as I said, as an entrepreneur, I can completely relate to what you said. To the audience as well, believe me, if any of you have started businesses or gone through that journey or planning to do it, these things do matter. Whatever Jay was saying, I could absolutely, absolutely relate with it. Uh, I do want to bring in Catherine very soon into the conversation, but Catherine, before I hand over the screen to you, I do want to run our second poll for this evening. So, or morning, depending on which part of the city, which part of the world are you in. So, my second poll for the evening is live on your screens right now. My question to our audience is, what is your primary goal for wanting to pursue an MBA or a master's degree? This is, I can, if everyone's okay, I'm going to broaden this, even if it's not US, and some of you may be looking at other alternatives, wanting to evaluate options as well. So my question is, what is your primary goal for wanting to pursue a business master's or an MBA degree? Is it, are you looking to switch careers or industries? Are you looking to escalate your career with global exposure? Are you looking to building those leadership and management skills? Or are you looking to start, join, or scale a business for yourself? I'm going to keep this poll live for a few seconds. So my request would be please do respond. It would be great to see what your motivations are. Jay, I can see thank yous coming in for you from the audience. Thank you for doing this. This is extremely, extremely insightful, as I said. And
Jay, while the poll is running, there were a couple requests to repeat the three things you need to know about risk management. Can you repeat those three again?
One is risk management. The second is uncertainty navigation. And the third is ambiguity exploration.
Thank you.
These are all very specific skills, action-oriented skills. And skills are different from style. Okay, we all have different styles, but skills are actionable. Okay, skills are nouns, not adjectives. Style is adjective, but a Babson entrepreneurial being, being an being an entrepreneurial leader is about taking action. Okay.
Thank you.
Great. Thank you, Jay. This was wonderful. I'm going to end the poll and just share the results from the poll for everyone's benefit for a minute. So, a majority of people are looking to extend their career with global exposure, followed by building leadership and management skills. And only 17% are looking to scale a business, start or join or scale a business. That's a small percentage. But I would, coming from the Indian background where there are so many entrepreneurs coming, I've seen a lot
Yeah.
of graduates from business schools not getting into entrepreneurship immediately post their programs, but getting started on that journey a couple of years post their studies. So, what we are seeing as 17% right now, if you look at the outcomes 10 years down the line, and I'm sure Jay, Catherine, you're
Oh,
following
we
this
have
on
the data.
map,
You're absolutely
Yeah.
you
correct.
have the data, right? So 10 years down the line, there's a huge percentage of the cohort which transitions towards entrepreneurship because they want to make that
Absolutely.
impact, make that difference, and start taking decisions for themselves. So this is great. Catherine, I have already seen the audience asking questions about how can they apply,
I saw that too. Yeah.
scholarships, application fee waivers, courses to select. So a lot of questions coming in over there. So I'm going to hand over the, sorry, yeah, go
Sanjay,
ahead.
can I comment on that poll a
Sure,
little?
sure, of course.
Today, all global multinational companies are looking towards India to provide the manpower for executive positions because there is no other country which has that level of executive manpower. Okay. If you look at it, a lot of the Middle East is run by Indian executives.
Indian talent, sure.
And even in the West, huge amount of executives or CEOs are coming from the Indian diaspora. Okay. So there is no other country that has just that level of manpower. So having that global exposure, having that experience is what multinationals are looking, not just for working in the US, but actually being executives globally.
Absolutely true. And we see this, CEOs of so many tech companies in the States and across the world are Indians, and so many startups, global AI startups coming out of India as well now. Uh, Great. So, Jay, our audience does have questions for you. If you're comfortable staying back for a bit more, what we can do is cover Catherine's presentation, understand how these students who are interested can also get into Babson, how can they apply, and then do joint Q&A. Is that all right? Great.
Absolutely.
So
Thank you.
my advice to the audience, if you have questions for Jay or Catherine, keep posting them in the Q&A box. I already see 9 questions coming in. You can also upvote questions which are asked by others. I'll pick up the most upvoted or relevant questions to ask them. And I'm going to hand over the screen to Catherine now to understand about Babson's admission process, requirements, scholarships, everything under the sun. And then we'll start with our Q&A. With that, over to you,
Sounds
Catherine.
good. Excellent. So I will try to share, I'll try to talk about some of the things I saw pop up in the chat as well, so that you guys can feel like you can really focus your Q&A on Jay and his presentation and get your questions answered there. So I'm Catherine McVeigh. I'm a Senior Associate Director here at Babson. I have been with Babson for 11 years now, a while. I sit on the admissions committee. I also sit on the scholarship committee. So I'm hoping to give you some advice here for what I'm looking at in terms of what programs we have, but also what you should be considering when you're applying to help your application be successful. Obviously, there's a review process. I'm never going to guarantee admission, but I can help give you some tips and tricks to make you feel more successful in that endeavor. So let's go ahead and start. I think one of the things I wanted to mention, though, I saw someone in the chat ask if our program is more theoretical or more practical. Babson is a very practical place. Our training for our students is very practical in nature. I think you probably saw that with what Jay was sharing. So when we founded these programs, both our undergrad and our grad program back in the 80s, the goal for us was that our students take away real learning that they can put into practice. It's not a theory-based thing where you can't really do anything with it afterwards. Our goal is that you can hit the ground running after the program is over, but hopefully even while the program is happening, that you can really start making change to your life, to your career, to your community. So we have grad programs at Babson. I'll try to be brief. It's important to know, of course, that we're number one entrepreneurship. I know Sanjay said that. We are also the number one for most alumni founders, or number seven overall top college from LinkedIn, but number two for the best college in the United States per the Wall Street Journal. A lot of these rankings, I always kind of roll my eyes at rankings because a lot of it is like you can mess with the statistics and whatever, but the number two we're quite proud of. The number one we're quite proud of for entrepreneurship because it's outcome based. This actually takes real information on and I know this because I help give the data for these rankings. It takes the information of what our students do after the program is over and gives us the ranking because of that. So this isn't just these are the scores they came when they started the program. This is who they are when they left. And so that number two really matters to us because it shows that Jay and his fellows have been able to really mold our students in undergrad and also in grad to be able to make change, get jobs, have good salaries, and be able to take action wherever they are. So that's why, well, again, rankings are kind of okay and can be manipulated. These ones we're quite proud of. Okay, so we have a number of full-time programs at Babson College, but the thing I encourage everyone to do before they pick their application and start applying is really start asking yourself these questions to decide which program is best for you. First, and this will always come back to us, what are your professional and personal goals? What we care about more than almost anything when we're looking at an application is authenticity. Are you who you say you are? Are your goals well thought out? And is the program that you're picking the right step for your goals? We're not necessarily looking for somebody who wants to get a degree just to make them, it doesn't match what their goals are, doesn't match what they want to achieve, but they want it for just like the letters. We want somebody who is looking to do an MBA or a finance degree because that's going to help them get the practical experience they need to then be in that role later on. So very authentic. When I'm looking at your essays, I'm looking at your recommendations, I really want to reflect who you are. We talked about entrepreneurial leadership, but as Jay very aptly showed, entrepreneurship is not just starting your own company. It's a variety of things. Sometimes I think there's a misconception when you're writing your essays to say that you want to start your own company. And a lot of people do. We see this with the poll that you guys just did. A lot of people don't want to start their own company right away. The research says 10 years down the line more frequently. So, where are you right now? And then where do you want to be in the future? And so think about what these goals are. And these goals can change. Grad school is most supposed to be transformative, but as you are applying, as you are really taking these steps and picking a recommender and things like that, what's motivating you and what do you want to do with it? You want to ask how much time can you devote to the graduate program degree right now? Different programs we offer are different lengths of time. It's important to know how much time you have to focus on this. You're not going to be able to work full time while you're in this program at Babson. So how can you take a year? Can you take two? Can you take a year and a half? What is your practical length of time that you can devote to this right now? What type of learning style is best for you? Do you want an online program? We don't do that full time, but we do have some part-time programs that are online. Do you need it to be more hybrid in nature? Do you want it to be in person? What works best for you? And then what do you hope to get out of this? What do you want your overall experience to be? What will look like success for you when this is over? And overall, as part of that, what type of graduate experience am I hoping for? Do I want time to network and to do clubs and organizations? Or do you want to be more focused, get this done very quickly? There's all these things can be met, but where are you on that spectrum? So very briefly for our full-time for our full-time programs, first we have a Master in Business Administration, our MBA. Our MBA can be done in two different ways, either in a one-year program or a two-year program. So that's back to that question of what's the length of time I can devote to this. Our one-year students are usually students who they don't need an internship. They're able to really know what their next step is. They just need an MBA to get there. Our two-year students have an extra semester. So 1 year is 3 semesters, summer, fall, spring, and 2 year is fall, spring, summer off, fall, spring. Our two-year students tend to need more exploration. They need time for an internship. They need time to maybe work on a new business idea. They just want to be able to have some breathing room. So the two-year program tends to be better for that. They're the same degree. The same faculty teach in both of them. You get the same diploma at the end of the day. It's truly just what format works best for you. It's 45 credits. 2/3 of the credits are electives at Babson. So that means a third of them are going to be core. Someone asked this question actually chat earlier. A third of our classes are core classes that everyone should do as part of an MBA. The rest of the program, the majority of the program is focused on you. So what do you want to learn? I recommend having those goals in mind. so that you can really focus your electives on how you want to launch your career either during the program or after. So you could focus on entrepreneurship, you could focus on marketing, you focus on finance. There's a lot of different concentrations that we have. You also don't have to concentrate, but there's different focuses that you could have, and your electives can help you, should help you launch your career. There's a part-time option for this program. It would be online in India. That's a little bit tough because they are live classes, though we do have, I think, a student in that right now. So it's an option if that's best for you. Two of our concentrations that I mentioned are STEM designated. So what that means in the United States is that as soon as our programs are over, after the program's done, you get 1 year of optional practical training guaranteed, meaning you can stay in the United States for a year and work to get practical experience, given your degree is now over. If you do one of our two STEM designated concentrations, the first is in finance. Technically, it's called quantitative finance. The second is in machine learning and business analytics. If you do one of those concentrations, your optional practical training extends from 1 year to 3. So that's something that you should bear in mind. If you're interested in working in analytics, analytics tends to be a big topic. That's a good option for our students. And then we'll have experiential learning opportunities throughout our program. We do a thing called the Babson Consulting Experience, for example. All of our students consult for a real company. A number of our students are really interested in consulting. So we try to make sure we give you options to participate and practice that skill set in real companies. So we also have 3 specialized masters, a Master of Science in Entrepreneurial Leadership, a Master of Science in Finance, and a Master of Science in Business Analytics. All of these programs I'm talking about are full-time programs. So you'd have to move to Massachusetts to participate in them, and they require Monday through Thursday. Friday doesn't normally have class. But you would normally come, you'd be in class all day, and you would participate in teams. Somebody in the chat earlier mentioned a question of how can I be a leader if I don't have a position, an official position to give me that authority? At Babson, I agree that not everyone is a leader, but if you are interested in becoming a leader, all of these programs are cohorted, especially the Master of Science and Entrepreneurial Leadership program. You will have an opportunity to lead groups that you are in, to lead your teams, and to practice that skill set so you can leave Babson saying, I've learned things, I've done things, but I've also learned the ability to lead a team, lead a project, lead an initiative. The Master of Science and Entrepreneurial Leadership program specifically is a 9-month program. It is cohort driven. So you guys are with each other the entire time. It's a pre-selected curriculum. So I mentioned the leadership piece here because it is one of the major components of that program is making sure you guys can leave with a solid foundation of leadership skills. It's going to have a couple of foundational options as well, where you'll do a trip abroad, to do a consulting, you'll also do a consulting project. You'll also have the chance in a semester to essentially create and potentially, if you wanted to, launch a company as part of the program. We also have the Master of Science in Finance and a Master of Science in Business Analytics. These can either be done in 9-month or 16-month options. It's the same program either way, the same cost either way. It's just a different distribution of the credits. Some students are interested in doing an internship in one of these two programs. So for them, we just redistribute your credits so you're here for an extra semester. So your internship takes place while you're still on the program and does not impact your optional practical training after the program is over. It's just a way to give you more time after the program is done to continue to work while you're here. They're both STEM designated as well, and they're both deep dives into those topics. They'll have experiential learning opportunities throughout. I want to make sure we can really focus on your questions for us. So very briefly, these are the application requirements for Babson. Your application fee is going to be waived because you joined us today. So I'm so glad that you did, because I'm happy to give that to you. There's an essay. Again, be authentic. Please write it yourself. It's okay, of course, to have someone edit it for you, take a look at it. That's just smart. But make sure that it is your thoughts and your goals. One recommendation is required for our programs. You are welcome to submit to if you want, totally fine. Your resume. If you are still in school and about to graduate, that is totally fine. Give me leadership opportunities, things that you've done. Internships can be in your resume. If you have graduated, excellent. Please really focus on the work experience that you've done. Transcripts, they can be unofficial for now. So if you have a portal, you can take screenshots or give me unofficial things. Don't pay for the official transcripts until you need to. We need to see the classes that you took. It's usually a mark sheet, the courses that you took, the grades you received. Again, if you're still in school, totally fine. Just make a note. The GRE and the GMAT's a question I frequently get. It is optional. If you want to take it to show ability or to strengthen an application, please do so. If you don't need to take it, you feel strong about yourself, don't worry about it then. It's fine. People get the same level of scholarship regardless of the GRE or the GMAT. That's a sneaky tip for you guys. Language test scores are definitely waived for our students from India, so ignore that. And then depending on the program, there might be an interview, frequently with me, sometimes with somebody else. It would either be a live WebEx interview or a recorded one. Okay, I ran through that very quickly. These are our contact information. Feel free to reach out to us at gradadmissions@babson.edu if you have specific questions. We do consultations all the time to talk about your situation and what you want to learn and what we think is best for you. We kind of go through those questions I shared at the beginning to help find the best fit for you. If you already know, great. If you have questions about certain things that you don't feel comfortable sharing in this setting, amazing. I'm happy to talk to you guys one-on-one. So I did that quickly. I hope I answered your questions. I know there's a question about scholarships, Sanjay. I can address it very quickly as well. Um, we do offer scholarships at Babson. They are merit-based. So what that means is we take a look at your accomplishments. What were your grades in school or currently your grades in school? What kind of work experience, internship experience do you have? Things like that. If you are somebody who has a lower GPA, a thing like a GRE or a GMAT can be extremely helpful in that scenario. I would recommend it. But that's your call. But I recommend trying to make every piece of your application as strong as possible, so and authentic as possible. So recommendations as well, we'll take a look at. Scholarships can range anywhere depending on the program. It will change a bit, but anywhere from on the lower end about $5,000. We do have much higher scholarships as well, 70, 80%, depending on what you've achieved. Most people get somewhere in the middle or so. But yeah, it's definitely a range and it's based on your achievements. Okay, I did it.
So that was quick and brilliant. Thank you, Catherine. Thank you for doing that. And actually, I'm going to take up my first question for you. So this is a combination of questions that have come up, and this has been asked by Hanan, Gauri, and multiple other people in the chat as well. Given the focus on entrepreneurship, right? Are there any specific traits or qualities that you're trying to evaluate through the application process? So whether it's the essays or during the interview, are there specific traits or qualities that you look for in candidates that you want at Babson?
I can talk about the admissions piece, and then Jay, if you want to
Sure.
share what you think makes a successful candidate in the classroom, I think that might be helpful for them to hear too. Um,
Perfect.
in application review, I look for clarity of goals. The worst thing that I'm looking for is somebody who says that my goal is to get an MBA. Great, you applied for one. I figured that out already. I would like you to tell me what's your next step. I also want you to be somebody who is willing to make a mistake. One of the essays that we have you respond to is tell me about a time that you made a mistake and what did you learn from that? The best candidates for Babson are able to really self-reflect and are vulnerable enough to say, everyone's made a mistake, but they're willing to say, I've made a mistake. But more importantly, here's what I learned about it. You'll find that we're very interested in the opportunity that comes from failure, the opportunity that comes from something unexpected happening. Jay talked about COVID. COVID had a lot of very tough things that happened, but there was a lot of opportunity in COVID as well. So we're looking for that. People who are willing to not be so perfect that they can't show that they're human and that through that act of failure, they're able to be innovative.
That
Everybody
was
believes,
wonderfully put. Yeah, yeah, Jay, please.
yeah, most people believe that entrepreneurship is about a solo journey. It cannot be farther from the truth.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And people who, if it's all about the ego, you're not going to scale. You won't be able to build a team. You won't be able to bring in complementary skills. Okay. And you won't be able to raise resources. You won't be able to attract funding. Okay. And also, the market is the only filter. So it's about humility. Okay. And so, at the heart of the ability for skills to scale is not about the starting. Everyone thinks that entrepreneurship is about ideas. No. Okay. It's about skills to scale.
But I
And
think
that's
the
what Babson
teamwork
is
thing,
very good at.
yes. But I think the teamwork thing is really important. And we scanned for that on my side of things too. I've had some people who submit a GMAT and it's perfect. And they had perfect grades. And then we asked them in their interview, tell me about a time that you couldn't be a leader. And they're like, I'm always a leader. I'm always in charge. No, you're not. And we will deny somebody if we think they can't work well with other people, if we think that they can't take the back seat sometimes, if we think that they can't be a good member of our community.
The responses really touched. You're like connected well. I have two wonderful co-founders at the organization, and believe me, it's the best thing to have some great co-founders or the ability to work with such a wonderful team that we have. I'm going to continue on this track. So, Catherine, you did speak about what the school is looking for. Jay, you mentioned as well. Uh, One question that comes up, right, is around the skills that one should build up for if they want to be a future entrepreneur. And this has been asked by multiple people in the chat. There's Gauri who's asking, how can she develop skills to become a CEO or become a leader in the future? Same way, there are multiple other people. Sanchi has also asked questions around this. So, Jay, if I can ask you, right? If someone is aspiring to be an entrepreneur, let's say a leader in the future, what can they do today to start building that mindset for tomorrow?
There is this misconception that you can predict your way into the future. Okay. Again, academia teaches you that you have to be 100% strategic, that you have to be 100% intentional. That's nonsense. Okay. You can't just predict your way into the future. Ambition alone is not going to be enough. Okay. Like corporations, like all businesses, you have to be super open to opportunities. You have to be opportunistic. You have to be open to accidents. You have to embrace that ambiguity. You have to be ready for uncertainty. And you have to take risks. You have to manage all of those three. Okay. And you can do all of that if you're intentional. Okay. Hey, I am building skills. I am making sure that the ego doesn't come in the way. I am willing to work with others. I am making sure that bringing resources from multiple perspectives where I don't have the skills. So all of these, you cannot just learn in the classroom. Babson is very good at putting you into situations where you have to immediately work with companies and you have to take internships and you go back to your family businesses and you start your companies when you're here. Okay? So it's through that practice. That's why we are academics. We help you both on the practice side and we'll help you in the classroom. So we call it a classroom, not a classroom, right? Because of that experience. It cannot just come from books and case studies. It's through that journey.
I've never heard the term pracademic before. I'm going to write that down.
And the word classroom comes from Zach Zacharakis. So
No way, really? Yeah, he's one of our professors too.
awesome guy.
Nice.
I
Great.
think, and I'm gonna weigh in because I can't help myself.
Yeah.
I think I see a lot of questions about, well, I don't have this skill set. Can I even apply? Or how do I get it? I think Babson's really good at helping you figure out what you need, what resources you should gather or learn to help you achieve the end result you want. We have faculty, we have opportunities for us to spend time with different companies. We have a number of resources on campus beyond that, though. We have our centers and our institutes that are all very topic based. So, entrepreneurs, for example, can work with the Blank Center that has an accelerator, but also has the Entrepreneurial Village. And it has a number of people who have family business also can be part of the Blank Center school, Blank School. And they have a focus on family business. And there are different places that you can tap into here on campus as you identify skill sets you might not have joining us that you can then help get the skills that you need to be successful in whatever way you want to be.
Center for Social Entrepreneurship, for healthcare,
Mhm.
for franchising. So these
Mhm.
are all kind of
The Cutler
areas.
Center for finance
Absolutely.
is huge. Yeah.
It's one of the very famous expressions from coming from an American poet. You need to wander. before you wonder. The more you wander, the more you wonder. Okay. But not everybody who wanders is lost. It's okay to be lost a little, but you will be picking up so many different types of skills while you're on this campus. And it's that community, super supportive community, which is a small thing rather than you being lost in a cohort of 800 people. I can guarantee you across the river are 800 people in a classroom, whereas it is 40 or 30 or 50, right?
But it is, but it also isn't because once you're a Babson student, you're a Babson student forever, and your goals are going to change. You're going to graduate, and 10 years down the line, something different's going to happen. And so we do have people who come back not just in terms of doing another program, but come back to tap back into our centers or to work with our Center for Career Development or whatever it is, they reach back into the resources that we offer you because those are evergreen. You can always do that. And I don't think you can say that at a lot of places. You're a Babson student forever, wherever you are in the world.
Yeah, absolutely. The community of having entrepreneurs who can support you or guide you through your journey, and maybe your people who have gone through the journey before you, that is, extremely, the mentorship that you get is extremely valuable. Sai Krishna, I think your question around your creating, building a social venture kind of got answered in this conversation if you're paying attention. This was so Jay or Catherine, you spoke about the Center for Social Venture at Babson. So yeah, that's an option for you, Sai Krishna. That's covered. Jay, I want to ask you about one, and this is again a summary of questions that have been asked. A lot of people don't take that risk to start up because they are afraid of failure. We know that roughly 8 to 9 out of 10 startups do end up failing. They don't succeed beyond the first 1 or 2 years. Now, how does one go ahead taking that leap of faith? Is there firstly a model for guaranteed success? Is there something that they can do when they're starting up that ensures that they really succeed? And how do they convince themselves to take that leap of faith and not get scared of the journey at all?
And we have research for 30 years now. We have something called the Global Entrepreneurship Monitor, and we have researched the topic deeply. Okay. And what we see is that people who will take that leap, people who will take that first step, is primarily because somebody around them has taken it. Maybe their uncle, maybe their aunt, maybe their cousin. So it's that near community. And if you don't have that, Babson gives you that, right? Because there is an entire building called the E Tower, the Entrepreneurship Tower. And there you have 25 entrepreneurs all living together because it's that community that supports each other to take that first step, right? So it's very human. It's that many times it's that FOMO. Hey, they're doing it, and I know that their skills are not that different from mine. Hey, I can do it too, right? It's just watching somebody else do it gives you that confidence and also breaks that ego and saying, hey, it's okay. They have failed 3 times. That's all right. Okay. And so it's that closeness, it's that community. And that research is very solid that we know. And that's why, again, as Catherine said, the support structures here are just amazing. Okay.
Thank you, Jay. And Sai Krishna, your question about what kind of mentorship Babson provides, the answer was there. So Jay did mention about the ETAR, the Entrepreneurship Tower. And I think the mentorship that you can get from alumni who have been through the journey, seen that success or even failures, right? That can help you or guide you, go a long way in guiding you through your journey as well. Uh, Jay,
Actually, go to my website. I've listed every failure on my website. Okay. So go and check which university professors globally have a failure resume on their website. Okay.
Those are my favorite essays for what it's worth, are the
yeah.
ones where it's like, I
So
tried something and here's how I failed. This venture it didn't work out. I mean, how many entrepreneurs have a failure graveyard? A lot of them do.
And failure possibly teaches you more.
It
yeah.
it does. Yeah, definitely.
Okay.
Okay.
So it's in fact you should, if you talk to any school globally, ask them which of your professors have a failure resume on their website. So most of them won't know what is entrepreneurship unless they've gone through that. I can guarantee you that. Okay.
I remember very recently a fairly popular influencer, entrepreneur turned influencer, posted his failure resume as well. An Indian guy, I'm sure our audience may be able to guess this. Let's see if any of you are able to guess this. Let me know in the chat. A famous entrepreneur went through the journey and then recently posted his failure resume online as well. So I think that's important to identify what your failures are and see what you have learned from that experience. Jay, we are over time, and Catherine, we are over time. Are you comfortable taking a couple of more questions, maybe two, three
Sure,
more questions?
that's
All
fine.
right, great.
And actually, can
Catherine,
I mention
sure,
something really quickly? Because you were talking about
sure.
mentorship as well. I did want to point out that because we are a smaller school, mentorship is a very organic thing that happens. A lot of our students do spend time with Jay. The faculty are, you may have noticed, he's very approachable. That is the goal. It's not an ivory tower where they kind of come in on a cloud and lecture and then they leave and you never see them again. If I go out of this room, I'm in my office right now. If I leave my office right now and go in the hallway, I will absolutely find at least three professors downstairs having coffee with somebody. Like it's a constant thing. There are some of the centers we mentioned. There's a one for the Center for Women in Entrepreneurial Leadership. They have a more formal mentor program for female entrepreneurs as well. So if that's something that you're interested in, we do have more formal mechanisms for mentorship. But I think if you talk to any student, they'd say they've received a lot of mentorship opportunities here.
Great. Thanks for sharing that, Catherine. And I can see the thanks coming in the chat, even in the Q&A. So Sai Krishna has mentioned you says a thanks for that we took his question about social impact and social entrepreneurship. And I can see those thanks coming in the chat as well. Uh, So, Catherine, I wanted to ask you this. So, they of course have a way to reach out or write to the admissions team, but
Mhm.
is there a way for them to get their profile evaluated or do a one-on-one conversation with your team or with you and get feedback on their fit with Babson?
Worse, yeah. So, and I can put it in the chat. I know Jay's done it. I can write our email address. It's gradadmissions@babson.edu. I spelled it right. Yeah, I did. Okay. It is really common. Actually, after I'm done with this, I have two more later today where we will do one-on-one consultations with candidates to talk about what they want to do. My goal for you is for you to be in the program that fits you best. Sometimes it's going to end up being the 2-year MBA, but sometimes you think it's a 2-year MBA until you hear details about the Master of Science in Entrepreneurial Leadership program, and it's actually that one. So I think having those one-on-one conversations, talking about your goals, talking about the hardships you're facing right now, talking about your funding situation. There's been a lot of things going up around in the world talking about the visa questions you might have, things like that. We're always happy to have the conversations. And sometimes the answer is, I can't help you, but sometimes it's not. Sometimes we can talk through it together. So please definitely email us at gradadmissions at babson.edu. My team will send you a link. It's a scheduling link, and there's myself and then four other members of my team who do these appointments. You can pick a time that works for you, and you have a 15-minute appointment with a member, either myself or a member of my team.
Perfect. My suggestion to our audience would be do make the most of it, do evaluate, get into those conversations. You may discover something more about the school, and that can open more perspective or open more doors for you. I also see a lot of requests coming in for the recording of this session, so I'm going to put it out there. The recording of this session is going to be available on Seed's YouTube channel by tomorrow, sometime in the next 12 to 14 hours. So follow us, go check us out on YouTube, and you'll find the recording over there. Uh, I do want to take a few more questions, and this is around some mentorship, yes, but Catherine or Jay, if you want to touch upon this, if Babson also has an in-house incubator or an accelerator for ventures, and for funding, is there some way the school helps startups, which are by the students or alumni, help them get funding, internal or external funding from somewhere?
I'll defer to you, Jay.
Yeah, the Butler Venture Accelerator is kind of a support structure for any stage. So the services provided are based on what stage of the journey you are. Are you just starting out with an idea, or have you already built a team, or do you already have a product in the marketplace, or are you an alumni who is coming back and started something and need services. So it's based on where you are in the journey. Okay. And uh, access to resources and funding we have kind of challenges. The beta challenge is a very popular one where you have access to funding. So these are all competitions, internal competitions that take place because, as you can imagine, it's fierce in terms of for resources. And again, what you learn is that your cohort, your friends, and the entrepreneurs who are around you will guide you. Hey, if you're in ed tech, this is where you go find resources. If you're in fintech, this is how you go find resources. If you're in, some other industry, in food tech or ag tech. So these are all communities that you build while you're here to where to go find those types of money. Yeah. And so, yes, Babson gives some through some summer venture programs or better challenge, but most of the time, you're learning the skills to raise money and resources.
The Blank Center, the Butler Center Accelerator is incredible because not only can you do it as a current student, you also can do it as an alum, and any partners you have can participate in as well. We also have another one that is through the Frank and Eileen Center for Women's Entrepreneurial Leadership. I always forget the first part of that title. And that one's focused on entrepreneurs who are looking to further female entrepreneurship. So there's an accelerator in that one as well. But again, these resources can be used at any point in your journey, even far after you leave. And Jay mentioned the summer venture program. It's incredible. It's basically a 12-week boot camp in the summer where the goal is to help you launch by the end. And these are incredible resources. They're very supportive. The intellectual property is your own. Our goal is
And
to
all run
really,
by ex-entrepreneurs,
yes.
not by faculty. Okay.
The network is incredible. Like the number of the people that you meet as part of it, it's incredible. And I will also point out that we've had a number of students on Shark Tank and they've used some of these same resources as well.
Awesome. Thanks, Catherine. Thank you, Jay. We are over time, but I do want to take a minute to wrap up this session and communicate a message to our audience as well. I'm seeing a lot of thank yous coming in. So Gauri, Kumail, everyone talk about how this presentation or how this session has opened their eyes and given them the confidence to get started on this journey. Uh, to my audience, my message is that if you are looking to be an entrepreneur or a business leader, or even if it's not immediately post your studies, but 5, 10, 15 years down the line, you see yourself doing something, then do check out Babson. One important thing which we missed mentioning possibly in this session is that a lot of B school graduates or students actually find their co-founders or find
Oh,
their business
yes.
partners on the B school campus. So if you are looking to be on this journey, you want to find your co-founder, get started on your Kickstarter venture, or be an entrepreneur in the future, then Babson is possibly the school to go, ranked number one in the world over the last 30 over the last 3 decades, multiple times for entrepreneurship by a variety of rankings. And as I said at the beginning of this session, I personally know a number of entrepreneurs who have come out of the school and they all vouch for the experience that Babson gives. If you're looking to be in entrepreneurship or be a business leader who runs big ventures and takes ownership of those ventures as well. With that, I do want to, we are over time. Unfortunately, I could have gone on and on with this conversation. I was learning quite a bit myself, but unfortunately, we are over time. Jay, Catherine, I look forward to staying in touch. And I want to thank you for taking out the time to do this conversation with us. So thank you, Jay. Thank you,
Oh,
Catherine,
thank you for
um,
Thank
hosting.
you.
for being with us. A wonderful pleasure of mine. And I also want to thank our audience. Thank you for being here today and being so interactive and so participative. I know we have missed a couple of questions. We couldn't take up all the questions, but if you do have questions for the Babson team, you can reach out to them directly. Their email address is in the chat as well. Katrina shared it. It's gradadmissions@babson.edu. Or in case you want to get in touch with us at Seed and you want us to put you in touch with their team, feel free to reach out. There's support, there's guidance, there's advice, everything always available. Just take that initiative to reach out. With that, I'm going to take your permission to wrap up this session. Thank you, everyone. Have a great day. Have a great evening ahead, everyone. All the best.